coming up in the next segment, I'm going to give the phone number out for your specific questions for Wayne Madsen. He joins us at about 20 after today for the balance of the broadcast. So I'll give the number out for your specific NSA questions from a real NSA whistleblower. And this has got the system so upset, as I said earlier, they have taken down the London Guardian / London Observer article, it's twin newspapers, and even expunged the Google cache. And they haven't done a retraction saying we removed the article because it was wrong. They've been denoticed, which is over in England. The government can tell them to take something down, they have to do it. But as it broke in the U.S. papers on Thursday and Friday, our government, the leech globalist, are ordering the headquarters of the leech globalist, London, to remove this stuff. Or probably London ordered its minions in the U.S. to then make the request so it wasn't too obvious who's running things. No attack on the British people, by the way. You just were a prominent, powerful island, so the globalists moved in and took over your country and have made you the system to take over the rest of the planet. And I, for one, just want to reverse this. I want to stop this. By the way, Kurt Nimmo wrote an article about Nelson Mandela. Obama and Nelson Mandela, George Washington, a communist. That's up on Infowars.com. And then we've got some other very important articles that we're going to be getting to as well. Jordanians suspicious about U.S. military deployment. And it said they had a drill there, and then now the U.S. hasn't left. The drill started about a month ago, but was supposed to end June 20th. And the U.S. military says they're staying. Because it's not the U.S. military. It's the globalist military. Very, very spooky. Very, very weird. But getting back to this just briefly. Can Wi-Fi let you see through people's walls? Ladies and gentlemen, they keep having articles every week going, researchers at a university were able to use the Kinect system or were able to use other Wi-Fi systems to see through walls and even face scan people. Wow, they say it's incredible that the Wi-Fi can do it. They say, man, this is really high tech. This previously, what was on this Kinect, what was on these other systems, was the most expensive Pentagon systems. It's incredible that this is so overly, muscular on these systems. It is so powerful just for a little video game. This looked for your walls. You look through your walls. Look through your walls. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what they do. And they're showing the public very low-power examples of how this is able to do it. And you can go to Infowars.com and read all about that. But the point is this is just more of a high-tech version of ground-penetrating radar. Speaking of that, RT reports FBI suit over secretive facial recognition program. Turns out they're scooping up digital photos from Facebook, driver's license databases, you name it. And I would also add Facebook makes people confirm it's their Facebook by confirming, hey, this is your photo, right? And, hey, this is your high school buddy, blah, blah, blah. And now when you go on Facebook, it'll tell you when you upload a picture, they'll say, hey, these people with you are these people, right? Confirm for security. So the computer is now training you as a slave to respond to it and confirm as a human computer interface with human intelligence, that is indeed the person. And then they have TV shows about how cool it is and news shows. And then in New York and L.A. and Tokyo and Moscow and London, in the fanciest areas, they have deals where you walk by and the Facebook cameras shout out at you. Johnny Appleseed was born during the Revolutionary War. He's not just a legend. And in more than 5 states, he introduced apples that had not even been grown in the colonies. Later, the seeds from plants he planted and cultivated and some of the varieties he developed spread across the United States. And it was Johnny Appleseed teaching the colonists and then the new Americans, after we won independence, the love of planting fruit trees that introduced that idea to North America. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a revolutionary act to unplug from the television, to unplug from the computer and all the globalist propaganda, and to go out in your backyard or your front yard or planters at your apartment or on the roof of the building where you live and to plant a garden.
Become the Johnny Appleseed of your community with seeds from the InfoWars Seed Center at InfoWarsStore.com.
The simple act of planting fruits and vegetables and then tending them and taking care of them and then sharing them with friends and family is a revolutionary act against tyranny. The globalists, first and foremost, do not want us to be self-sufficient. The crony anti-free market capitalist, the fascist, are using socialism and collectivism to shut down societies. Stalin in Poland and in Ukraine and other areas starved on record more than 10 million people over 5 years by not letting them grow their own crops and collectivizing them. Mao killed between 65 million and 80 plus million people doing this same thing. The UN says they will use food as a weapon. They use genetic evil to attack the earth, and major GMO companies have been caught going into growth belts around the world, even where GMO is illegal, and planting seeds everywhere to infect the genetics of the original crops. Almost all of the thousands of varieties of Mexican corn has been infected. They are in a genetic war against everyone. That's why we have to get these seeds and not just plant them on our own gardens and not just give them as gifts to friends and family to plant spring and summer and fall gardens. I'm calling on you to go out into the green belts, to go out into the areas and plant secret gardens. No, not of marijuana, but of the hundreds and hundreds of incredible high-quality vegetables and herbs and fruit plants that are here. Lemons and oranges, the list goes on and on. They will grow, plum trees, grape trees, they will grow almost everywhere in the U.S. We can literally, not just buying these products from InfoWarsStore.com, but from wherever you get them. This aggressive program literally just came to me one morning when I woke up about 4 a.m. realizing that we've got to counter their genetic war against us with original, real crops developed over eons on this planet. We have the lowest prices. We bought it in the biggest bulk that some of these companies have ever seen to ship this directly to you from the InfoWars Command Center. We stand for life. We stand for liberty. We stand for self-sufficiency. Go to InfoWarsStore.com, click on the Seed Center, and as of taping this, we have the 7 top respected brands. We intend to continue to do research and find other companies, other specialties, other varieties to really take action.
The InfoWars Store Seed Center has the largest online selection of heirloom, non-GMO seeds.
Check out these products from our newest supplier, Heirloom Organics.
The Medicine Garden for a natural remedy.
The Tea Garden that contains every important tea herb you can grow.
Fruit Lovers with 12 varieties.
And the Tobacco Pack, additive and pesticide free.
Join the gardening revolution today at InfoWarsStore.com.
This is a revolutionary action we're asking you to take. Plant seeds everywhere today. Nurture them, bring them to fruit, and pass on the knowledge to others. Become human again. Discover your roots in the soil. And remember, the revolution against tyranny is growing. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Sunday, the 30th day of June 2013. Can you believe we're already more than halfway through 2013? Just light speed. I come in all the time at the start of the broadcast and almost announce 2008 or 2010. It's just, the years just blip by. We got Wayne Madsen, NSA insider and whistleblower, who had the U.S. government block stories he was interviewed in the London Guardian and an Observer. And there's no coverage of this. This is a big story for whoever reports on it. Business Insider reported on it. We linked to it on Infowars.com. But we have the rest of the story coming up in the next segment. But first, let me shift gears into an article we put out Friday that was linked up on the vaunted almighty driver of news coverage, drudgereport.com, via Infowars.com. Ex-Chicago cop Zimmerman acquittal to cause race riots. A former cop and detective who's an award-winning writer for major publications, you can read the whole story, said that according to the thousands of tweets he's seeing and what he's seen happen in the past with the Rodney King verdict and things like that, that if George Zimmerman is acquitted of murdering Trayvon Martin, the former Chicago police officer warns that the outcome of the case could spark race riots in cities all over America. And then we break down the entire situation in the article up on Infowars.com that I think is in the top 5 most viral stories we ever put out. On Friday, you can go to Google, but you can also go to other trackers. We had 2 stories in the top 5. Our story about police strapping people down to forcibly take blood, and they like take big bags of blood now. Just incredible. Didn't used to happen in America, happens now. Imagine in North Korea if that was happening. We'd think it was horrible, but not here. We'll shoot some fireworks off. That was the 5th biggest story on the web Friday. And the 3rd biggest story was our George Zimmerman story about this. Just amazing to just routinely be able to do that. That's why Infowars.com is so precious, is that we can get up here and get people to think for themselves. And even take mainstream news articles, but point out another angle to it that really resonates with the people. But here's the article. You can read it up on Infowars.com. It's in the most read section on the right-hand column. Just scroll down about halfway, and there it is. Ex-Chicago cop Zimmerman acquittal to cause race riots. And, you know, I saw video, last week we talked about it, of a nanny cam in New Jersey of this guy beating a woman, a black guy beating a white woman. It looked like for, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes, throwing her downstairs right in front of a 3-year-old child. The woman didn't even resist him. It turns out that they have arrested a man who they think did it. He looks just like him. When they arrested him, he was wearing a black and white striped old-fashioned prison-style shirt. I guess he was already. He's been convicted of robbery 4 times and had just gotten out a month before from a short stint for a aggravated home invasion. Nanny cam home invader who assaulted mother in front of her child was known to have entered a neighbor's home. Sean Curtis had recently been released from jail for burglary. If he was to break into my house, black or white, he'd be deader than a bucket of coffin nails. I can tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, because we don't call 911 except for them to come scoop up the body. Come in my office, too. You're going to be going out feet first as well if you come in here with a weapon or trying to rob somebody. And you look at the crime rates in where they've taken almost all the guns in New Jersey, in areas of Illinois like Chicago. I mean, the crime rate, I've shown the Justice Department numbers. It's 5, 10, 15, depending on the area, times higher than anywhere else in the U.S. And it's just so pathetic to see a big man beat up a woman. And I want to know this. If he isn't convicted, will there be race riots around America? I don't think there should be. But the issue is that now there's all these witnesses that George Zimmerman walked up and asked the guy what he was doing. Maybe that wasn't a good idea, but it didn't give Mr. Martin the right to break the guy's nose and bounce his head off the cement over and over again. And that's what all the witnesses saw. And I'm sad that Trayvon Martin's dead, but the Justice Department went down there quietly behind the scenes. This came out to stir it up. They want racial division. Just look at MSNBC. It is abhorrent. They want to change the subject from deindustrialization and carbon taxes and corruption and all these mega corporations that put Obama in office being totally tax exempt and more banker bailouts and the looting of the country, on and on and on. They want to make it all about Obama being part African. I wouldn't care if he was blue, green, pink, purple, if he was into liberty. But he is a horrible, corrupt globalist. And they are selling racial division in this country. And that's why there are black on white gangs attacking people all over the country. And you'll see newspapers apologize now when they report it. Or they won't say when it's racially motivated unless it's white people. And this is done to, again, create racial division. Well, I mean, it's like Alec Baldwin. He's come out and used a bunch of homophobic words, calling gay people horrible names in tweets. I'm not going to repeat it. And, you know, he said, take Republicans out, go to their house, kill them, kill their children, burn down their houses, kill their families. He's above the law. So the London Guardian said Hollywood's refusal to stand up to Alec Baldwin is shameful. Alec Baldwin uses homophobic slurs against gay Daily Mail journalists, and nobody says anything. Because political correctness is only meant to be used against libertarians or conservatives. It's only meant to stifle everybody's speech but the establishment people. Okay, that's what's going on with Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin, you have been very, very useful to me, to quote the great Kim Jong-il in Team America. All right, continuing here. Let's get into George Zimmerman trial. Neighbor testified Trayvon Martin was straddling Zimmerman moments before fatal gunshot. Yeah, no kidding. And then other neighbors said they heard, please help me, get off me, help me. And it just goes on from there. Now we have this article. Illiterate rambling defense witness Rachel Gentile is a victim of brain-damaging mass fluoridation. And maybe Miss Teen USA is too. The only one we found dumber than this lady. And let's go to some of the clips where, well, let's just go to this first clip where on the stand, the so-called star witness Rachel Gentile says creepy-ass cracker, not a racial slur. Let's play that.
Describing the person is what made you think it was racial?
Yes.
And that's because you described him as a creepy-ass cracker?
Yes.
So it was racial, but it was because Trayvon Martin put race in this.
No.
You don't think that's a racial comment?
No.
All right, let's get her off there. Let's go to the next clip with this genius, Rachel Gentile. Can't read her own letter somebody wrote for her. So she can't read her own letter. Let's go to this clip.
Ms. Gentile, would you take a look at that copy of the letter and let me ask you a couple of questions about it. Do you recognize that letter as being one that you said earlier was prepared to be given to Ms. Fulton?
Yes.
And that letter was prepared with the assistance of a friend of yours named Francine Serve?
Yes.
And you and Ms. Serve talked about what you wanted to be in the letter, and then she helped write it in a way that was legible, correct?
Yes.
But the contents of the letter are yours.
Yes.
Are you able to read that copy well enough that you can tell us if it's in fact the same letter?
No.
That's enough.
Are you unable to read that at all?
Now you can watch the InfoWars Nightly News streaming live as it happens for free.
Check it out at Infowars.com/show.